In the modern world, where words seem to lose their power, where noise and superficiality predominate, an important question arises. Is it possible to demonstrate one's value without pronouncing a single word? Is it possible to understand the value and intentions of others without words? Ancient Stoicism claims that it is possible. Stoics believe that courage is one of the most important qualities that a person should possess, and that it can be manifested not by words, but by actions. Today, we propose you to follow this path of personal development with us, where you will learn how to realize your value and become an example for yourself and those around you. You know your value, and this feeling comes out of a simple self-feeling. It is about changing what others see and perceive you as. It is similar to gaining superpowers in personal life, but many of us do not realize that they have such a power. Let's figure it out in our video. Let's dive into something real and sincere, understanding one's value in the context of Stoicism, a philosophy that has survived experimentation over time. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, as well as the Telegram channel. The link is in the description under the video. Let's get started. The level of your value in relations through the prism of Stoicism. Yes, you are not mistaken, it is Stoicism. This ancient philosophy is not only about being indifferent to pain, but also about understanding what is really important in life, especially in our relationships. I invite you to follow a few steps to find your inner stability and reveal your true value in relations. And believe me, this is not a typical advice that a couple therapist could give you. The first thing you need to do is to expand your horizons, maybe even in directions you have not thought about. Are you ready to start this journey? Let's start and unravel the secrets for a more satisfying, respectful, and inspiring personal life. Stay with us because it will change the rules of the game, and some things may seem rude or cruel to you, but you will have to face it. This is the only way to achieve complete happiness. Step number 1, know your value. I know what you are thinking about. Oh no, please, not another tirade about love for yourself. But stay with me, because this is not about how you look in the mirror and repeat how incredible you are. What kind of relationship does Stoicism have to realize its value in relations? In fact, there are many. Those who teach us that the main thing is to focus on what we can control, and that your self-esteem is under your control 100%. And it's not about how many likes you get on Instagram, or whether you got a request to add to a friend in any other social network. It's about how you perceive and value yourself. Imagine yourself as a precious stone. Not everyone knows the value of a rare, precious stone. Some may simply not notice it, not realizing its value. But this does not change the value of the stone. A precious stone remains valuable, rare, and unique. This is your true reflection. This is you. Real, unique, and valuable. Your value does not decrease only because someone does not see it now. Let's be a little realistic. Each of us has at least once faced rejection. We have felt that we are not beautiful enough, especially in our hyperconnected world, where everyone seems to live their best life. But here Stoicism comes to the rescue to remind you that your value is not tied to the praise of another person, but to how you live your life, your honesty and your actions. Actions, are you good? Are you honest? Do you live as you are proud? This is what your true value is. Stoics were prone to self-analysis, so find a moment to think about your qualities, not only in superficial things, but also in the deepest values that make you feel good. Regardless of whether you are sensitive to life or able to listen, these qualities make up your value. And here's the secret. When you really know it deeply and in the real, it will change how you interact in your relationships. You will not suffer stupidity, not because you are understanding, but because you overestimate yourself for it. And here's a little inspiration for you. The next time you feel that you are underestimated, instead of falling into a spiral of uncertainty in yourself, ask yourself, what are your strong sides and values? It is not about praise, but about the silent recognition that you are worthy of external recognition. Mark Aurelius, one of the great emperors of the Stoics, says that you have power over your mind, not over external events. Realize this and you will gain strength. Therefore, when it comes to relationships, it is about finding strength in your own value, regardless of whether someone else sees it or not. Remember that your value is not a one-time thing. It is a journey, a practice, something that you are improving. It is about waking up every day and reminding yourself of your values, not because of what another person thinks, but because of who you are in your essence. Step 2. Show yourself worthy. Before you start imagining yourself a Stoic, as a severe and unsmiling activist of the past, let me explain the situation. Stoicism is not about suppressing your emotions or indifference, but about understanding what is worthy of your energy and what is not. How you present yourself deserves your energy. So let's talk about what it means to present yourself in relationships. Sometimes we try to make someone feel that in the end, we are losing ourselves in the process. We dress in a certain way, we speak in a certain way. All this is for the sake of getting praise. Your dignity is not in the clothes you wear, or in the cool places where you spend time. It is in how you behave in your actions, in your choice. Imagine you are in a cafe, and you see two people on a date. One is trying to impress, and the other feels comfortable in his own skin. What do you think? Which of them will leave an unforgettable impression? The one who is real. This is the power of presenting yourself with dignity, with those who are trying to live honestly, and with self-respect. And how is this reflected in our modern world of acquaintances? It's simple. If you are attracted to something, do it yourself. Let it flow. It is not about dressing up as someone you are not, but about feeling comfortable and confident in your own skin, knowing that you are worthy of being who you are. And here's another thing. Be respectful to yourself. The way you treat yourself sets the standards of how others will treat you. Guess what? You tell the world that they can treat you the same way. But what if you respect yourself? If you value your time, your energy, your emotions, you have received a loud and clear message. I am worthy of respect, and I hope that they will treat me accordingly. As another great philosopher Stoic said, in the context of relationships, it is not important what is happening to you, but how you react to it. The point is not only in what you look like or what you say, but in how you react and how you behave in different situations. Do you react with respect or with dignity? Do you compromise your values to respond? Or do you stand on your own, even if it means staying alone? This does not mean that you have to be perfect. We all make mistakes. We have uncomfortable moments, but it all depends on how you deal with these moments. Do you break under pressure, or do you keep your head high and learn from it? So let's think for a moment how we can start serving ourselves with more dignity. Maybe it's about setting boundaries, or maybe it's about saying no to things that don't meet our values. Maybe it's just like you treat each other with a little more kindness, a little more respect, because when you do this, when you start seeing a person in yourself with dignity, the world also starts seeing it. Step 3. Limit access. I know this may seem a little old-fashioned, maybe even a little harsh, but listen to me. The point is not to try to achieve success, but to respect yourself and understand your value. What does Stoicism say about this? Stoicism teaches us the art of self-discipline and control, but not to play hard to get, but to know what is truly valuable and not to give it away. In the world of instant gratification, it's like a breath of fresh air. Think about it. In relationships or when we meet someone, there is often a desire to share with everyone, with our time, our space, our deepest thoughts. But those who would advise to take a step back, because what is easily accessible often loses its value. This is human nature. Always be in touch at any time. Always say yes to everything. Where is the mystery, the depth, the expectation? Now let's move on to practice. How to limit access in a dignified and stable way. First, it's about how you present yourself. Dress elegantly but modestly. It's not just about fashion. It's a statement about intentions, in which it is said, I value myself. You don't hide, but you don't show off. There is a balance in everything, a feeling that I am more than what seems at first glance. Then there is your time and attention in the world, where we are constantly in touch. It is very important to be selective about who will get your time. It's not about the game, but about saying, my time is valuable, and I think it's better to spend it wisely. If you are with someone, be fully present and dedicated to your cause. But when you are not, feel good because you are inaccessible, because you are focused on your life, on your attachments, on your growth. Stoicism also teaches us emotional self-control. This does not mean that you become cold or distant. It does not mean that you do not allow every little thing to have a deep impact on you. You keep a certain inner peace. You do not give your emotional energy to anyone. You need to deserve it, as well as your time and attention. I am not saying that you need to become a standing statue. We are all people, and the connection is what makes life rich. But there is a beauty in not rushing to build a connection that is grounded, not only on instant access and instant satisfaction, but also on the construction of something deep, something that will last a long time. Remember that the limitation of access is not a game or manipulation, but self-respect and responsibility to your own values. It is about showing not only with words, but also with actions that you are the one who does not care. He values himself and therefore deserves to be valued. In order to be a little more resilient, a little more restrained, a little more persistent in our approach to relationships, it is about finding the golden mean between sharing and being a little more restrained. Believe me, it has a decisive meaning in how you are received and treated. Value yourself and be a little more like the pillars in our modern world of acquaintances. In Stoicism, actions are given great importance, not words. Do not tell me, show me. And this principle is well applied when we talk about establishing limits. It is one thing to tell someone about your limitation, but it is completely different to demonstrate it with your actions. Think about it this way. Anyone can say, I will not suffer bad conduct. But the moment of truth comes when you really face this situation. You firmly stand on your borders or allow them to trample. This is where your true power lies. It is not in words, but in action right now. This may not be easy, especially when a lot of emotions are involved. But remember what our friend Stans taught us. Everything is under our control, including the choice of how we react to the situation. If someone crosses the line, your borders determine your reaction, not your words. For example, if you clearly made it clear that you value honesty, and someone lies to you, how do you cope with this situation says a lot about what, retreat or solving the problem directly, and calmly shows that you take your borders seriously. Do not create drama, but simply respect yourself and get the respect that corresponds to your values. This approach can change the rules of the game in relationships. When people see that you have borders that you will not allow to cross, as well as the norms and values that you are determined to maintain, they begin to understand what you will accept and what you will not. It is about raising a sense of self-respect and keeping it. And this is where everything becomes truly standing. It is not only about big things, but also about small, everyday borders. This is how you react when someone breaks the plans at the last minute, or how you cope when someone takes you as your own. You leave them, or you inform with calm actions and words that this is not good. The practice of awareness is based on the awareness of the present moment and how you react to it, whether your actions reflect your borders or whether you remain true to yourself. It is about realizing the smallest moments, because often this is where the real testing of your borders lies. So during the day, when we interact with others, let's try to be a little more standing in how we show our borders. It is not about being tough or not tough, but about having an inner compass that directs your actions and reactions. And believe me, when you start living like this, people understand that they begin to see in you a person who not only has borders, but also respects himself enough to stick to them. Get ready to go. Stoicism has a wonderful concept of abstinence, but not in a cold or heartless sense, but in the sense of understanding what we can and cannot control. Here we also have relations. We were all there in a situation when everyone told us that this is not what I deserve, but we remain possible. This is the fear of being left alone, the fear of change, or just the hope that everything will change. But here is the turning point. True strength lies in the recognition that staying in a situation that poses a threat to our values remains within our control, and we can choose another way. This does not mean that, for the first time, you will throw everything aside. Relations require work, dedication, and patience. It is about knowing your values so deeply that when something goes against them, you are ready to go. It is about the inner strength, standing firmness, which allows you to say, I value myself enough not to take less than I deserve. Let's take a closer look. The readiness to go is a matter of self-respect. It is about not putting your basic values and self-esteem at risk. And this does not necessarily have to be a dramatic way out. Sometimes it is a calm decision, a calm understanding that it is not for you. And so it is scary. Unknown can be frightening. But do you remember our friend stand-ups who taught us to bravely resist adversity, to accept the unknown as a part of the natural flow of life? It is about recognizing that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is to let go of what is not for you. You are not here out of necessity or out of fear. You are here by your own choice. And here is the secret. When you have the courage to go away from what does not serve you, it is the same as cleaning up the old to make room for the new. It is about believing that there is something better for you and giving yourself a chance to find it. So while we are drinking coffee and thinking about it, let's remember that being ready to go does not mean being cold or distant, but being ready to go, loving each other and respecting yourself so much that you say, I deserve better. Focus on actions, not on words. Stoicism, as we have already said, is associated with practical wisdom. It is about judging people by their actions, and not just by their pleasant words. We live in a world full of magical words and empty promises, especially when it comes to relationships. But those who advise us to look further, they teach us to watch our actions because they reveal the truth. Think about it. It is easy to say everything that we consider right or what others want to hear by giving promises, painting a picture of the future that sounds perfect. But do they set an example or confirm your actions and your words? This is where the real story is. Let's be real for a moment. We were all there. We just met someone. He begins to tell us all these nice and amazing things, and we are captivated. But over time, the actions do not quite converge. They say they will call, and they do not call. They make plans and cancel them in the last minute. But their words hold us tight. This is where our inner stand should appear. Stoicism teaches us not to be obsessed with words, and not to be overwhelmed by emotions. It is about a rational view of things as they are. If someone's actions do not correspond to his words, this is a red flag. This is a way to say to the whole world, hey, pay attention, something is wrong here. This approach changes your way of orienting yourself in relationships. Instead of getting lost in romantic words and promises, you begin to pay attention to the details, how they behave in a stressful situation, whether they do what they say, whether they are ready for you, not only in words, but also in a real and tangible way. And this is where the most interesting part begins. When you begin to focus on actions, you set a standard and send a message in which it is said, I do not just listen to what you say, I follow what you do. And people understand that they cannot just talk in your life. They need to prove their value and their intentions. But remember, it is not about being cynical or not trusting everyone. It is about being smart. It is about protecting your heart with the charm of persistent wisdom. It is about not getting caught up in emotions, but about staying on earth. Let's think about it. Let's remind ourselves about the need to watch our actions. Let's not just listen to words, but let's be persistent in love, rational, observant, and wise. Because after all, actions will always speak louder than words. If this video was useful for you, like it and also write in the comments what you understood most valuable and what you learned from it. Subscribe for more Stoic wisdom, mental toughness, and life-changing mindset shifts.